What's up, y'all? We are back, episode 25 of the Minnesota Twins Out of the Park Baseball 24 playthrough, and we are here at the end of the regular season. Actually, started the playoffs October 8th, 2032. Minnesota Twins finished 92 and 70 to wrap up the season. We want to finish in 4 games ahead of the Tigers. They never really got any closer than that, so also 4 games ahead of the White Sox as well, who looks like they had a pretty decent year. Anyway, I guess we can go through the results of the year, how everyone did. So, DeMartini, awesome season, 5.7 WAR, led the league in WRC plus with 147, 77 extra base hits, and overall an awesome year from one of our stars. Adrian Palencia had a mediocre first half. He was fine, but yeah, he was like a 120 WRC plus guy, and then the All Star break hit, and yeah, he was like a 175 guy for the rest of the way. Awesome second half for him to turn in a 5.2 win season. Played actually all over the field for me, so we'll get to some of the injuries we got hit with late in the year, but played a lot of second, some third, and also some left field for the first time in his career, and that's where he'll play these playoffs as we start things off. So this is actually all hoops. Yeah, those two were fine. They didn't actually get hurt at all. So, Owen Pena was our third guy in WAR, 3.4. Played a really good third base and shortstop, actually, and a little bit of second base too. Not quite as good there, but slightly above league average at the bat. Increases walk rate, and he did all this with a lower BABIP. So, I mean, we get this from Owen Pena. I'm totally cool with that moving forward. Carlos Correa turned in a really awesome year in only 106 games. Want to, put him up at 121 WRC plus, which we'll take all day. Not quite the defender he used to be, but he was still above like average at short. His extension looking a little hefty, so we might look elsewhere moving forward at short. But you know what? If this is the last year on this deal, this thing turned out pretty good. Um, let's see. Yeah, so I mean, if he does go to the Hall of Fame, which I figure he will, with 73.8 WAR, he'll go in as a Twin, and that'd be pretty awesome for us. So, yeah, awesome career, and maybe we re-sign him, maybe we don't, but we'll get there when we get there. Justin Mercedes got hurt a little bit, but wound up putting up about a league average bat. Good, awesome defense in right, and can fake it in center. 25 steals. I wonder how many steals he has in his career. He's up to 157. He's been great on the base paths. And yeah, he's locked up long term. So, like to see that. Ben Hoffman, bit of a step back from his first 2 years, but he took over like the lead catcher role for the most part. He'll be starting every game in the playoffs for us. We'll get to how Lamar King Jr. did. It wasn't pretty, and you probably saw it if you looked at everyone's WAR, but. He did all this with a pretty low BABIP and was still almost a league average hitter and a pretty good, a good defensive catcher. So good year from him. Jeff Roy, mainly DH, played a little bit of third down the stretch. Really good third baseman. Definitely going to play him there moving forward, I think. Didn't really play at all against lefties, but hit really well against righties and turned in a really nice year. 136 WRC plus in 90 games, 2.2 WAR. Nice, really rookie year for us. Even though he played a ton with the White Sox, he probably shouldn't have, but whatever. Good year from him. Jesus Montez wound up being about a league average hitter, and not bad from Montez. Definitely better than his 2030 season in his rookie year. He didn't really get a bunch of major league time last year because we didn't get hit with a lot of injuries, but yeah, he turned in a pretty good year, and I'm fine with that. Harrison Sawden, so our top hitting prospect, maybe top overall prospect. We called him up when we had a slew of injuries. I think Correa might have went down, and we needed him to come in, so called him up. The strikeout rate is horrendous. The walk rate's not pretty, but put up a 110 WRC plus, 10 bombs in just 60 games. He'll be on the playoff roster and starting. So yeah, we're happy with that. Steve Driver wound up stepping in center field down the stretch. I may as well get to that now. So Schreier went down with shoulder inflammation for 2 weeks. That was right before the end of the season. He turned in an awesome year, by the way. 109 WRC plus and played a really solid center field for his own rating after a really bad start. Yeah, he'll be in center field next year for us. Really nice season, but he'll be out for this first round of the playoffs. So that puts Steve Driver in the starting lineup. Derek Mitchell also got hurt with a partially torn labrum. That was about a week and a half ago. He's still out for 4.5 more weeks, 6 weeks total. Pretty mediocre season from him after, his real breakout last year. So which Derek Mitchell are we going to get? I'm not really sure. Did play a really good left field. So, I'm not too disappointed with it, but also Carlos De Los Santos got hurt as well. That sucked. He was probably our third best reliever. And anyway, we'll keep going down. Tommy White, continues to just crush lefties in the save. Take out his righty numbers, and this dude's like an all-star hitter. Yeah, we're happy with him. He'll be starting against lefties in the playoffs. Graham Havovic hit really well in a couple games when at the start of the year when King was out. Jack Ruckert, nothing really special here, but he plays a lot of positions. Can play the corner outfield and stuff, and whatever. I think he'll be better next year, but maybe not the player we thought we were getting. But Lamar King, absolutely brutal season. 3 WRC plus, negative 1.1 WAR. He's lucky he was a decent defensive catcher, or else this would have been, one of the worst seasons of all time. Eventually, I had to pull him and start playing him every 5th game because he was just so bad. I have hope that he bounces back. The BABIP's 177. That's not really sustainable. He's more of a career 300 guy. Yeah, so maybe just a season to forget and move on next year. Because he'll be around, I assume. I guess we go to the pitchers now. Sort by WAR, Mike Wolf, highest DRA in the last 3 years. I have to sneeze. Oh, never mind. But I had wound up having his lowest FIP. I don't know what stats these are. Oh, never mind. Okay, it's right here. Had his lowest FIP of his career. I wound up putting up the most WAR. So there's another guy who did really well. I was looking, but Mike Wolf could wind up putting another Cy Young. Hagen Smith, a really solid year as our number 2. Not quite as good as last year, but the movement did go down. He didn't allow any more home runs. The BABIP was slightly up, probably closer to his career average. But we get 3.5 WAR out of him. Totally cool with that. Wilt Warren, really solid season. About a league average pitcher, 163 innings. This has value. He didn't get hurt. Started 32 games for me. That's big. And Aaron Nola, really disappointing year after we gave him the 1 year, $30 million extension. Yeah, this is probably his last year on the team. I think he probably just hit a wall at age 39. He could still be a good player, but he walked a few more guys. I think the BABIP was a little inflated. His FIP was still good, but wasn't giving us the length anymore. So, it just might be the end of Nola here. Probably still a Hall of Fame pitcher, I would assume. Yeah, he's about 67 WAR. So, yeah, I would vote him in personally. And he might go in as a Twin. Probably a Philly, though. I'm not sure. If he did go into the Hall of Fame, that's years down the road. Anyway, John Lash wound up being our best reliever. He finally moved into the closer's role at the end of the year. The only dude who could actually handle it. Almost 3 WAR in 73 innings. Awesome year from him. Leendo was in the closer's role, and, he was better than this ERA indicates. These last couple of games, he just got blown up, which brought his ERA up a full point. Overall, not a bad year from him, but, he couldn't handle the closer's role, so Lash will be in that. Chase Petty, solid year. Took a bit of a step back with his control, but, not horrible. He's due for free agency, so I don't think we're going to have the money to bring him back, but, stranger things have happened. Matt Olson, our only deadline accusation was pretty bad for us. Again, he was also like inflated by a couple bad appearances down the stretch, but overall, he was a pretty big disappointment of a guy I thought was going to be, a relief ace for us. But he'll be around next year. He's on an auto renew contract. Jordan Wicks was solid. We gave him a pretty small deal and was our closer for a little bit. Played a lot of middle relief, a couple of innings at a time. Another guy, a couple of appearances down the stretch inflated his ERA, but he was pretty fine. Dean got off to the miserable start. One of the worst Aprils I've ever seen out of a pitcher, and wasn't much better in May, July. He was bad, but there's a decent pitcher if you take his best 3 months. So he has a $15 million team option this offseason. I'm not going to accept it. Maybe we get him back at some point, but yeah, he's no longer like the lockdown guy we thought we were getting. But I still might have him in my seventh inning. And then, so Belchier Glazebrook, our top pitching prospect and actually top prospect overall, just ahead of Sodden, we called him up and he really struggled with control. Called him back up in September and was much better. Made a one start at the end, the last game of the year, and wound up pitching 6 scoreless and walkless innings. So really excited for what he has to offer. He'll be in the bullpen to begin the postseason, along with Eric Watson, who turned in a really solid rookie campaign. I got a little bit hurt at one point, but made 15 starts, 116 ERA plus. Not a strikeout guy, but keeps the ball in the ballpark and has good control. So that has a ton of value. So I think that's it. Pretty sure. I guess we can go through a couple of notable guys here. So, Gismondi was horrible. I called him back up again, and then I didn't even call him up in September because he was just unplayable. I don't know what happened to him, man, but he fell off the face of the earth these last 2 years. Kind of sucks to see, but, he'll be around next year, and maybe he can bounce back. Who knows? That's about it, actually. So, we'll be against Baltimore here. Game 1. It'll be Mike Wolf on the mound. I guess we could... we finished third in runs scored and third in runs against, so definitely our worst finish. Our pitching took a huge step back this year, mostly due to the bullpen. Our offense is about the same as usual, but maybe just a few less runs scored. So yeah, we'll play Baltimore first round. 7th in runs scored, 2nd in runs against, so a good pitching staff. Adley Rushman's still chilling around. Not really the hitter he used to be. Because he was a pretty big stud back in the day, but as he's gotten older, Father Time is undefeated. So, not an impressive offense by any means. But they got some players. But they got this Tink Hence guy who signed a big contract, I think, 2 years ago with Baltimore. Really good pitcher. I would have loved to sign him at the time. Multi-time All-Star. What is that? 7 All-Star appearances at age 30. Pretty crazy. Jameer LaForte looks like a nice young arm for them. Would love to get my hands on this guy. Although he doesn't really have the pitch mix I like. But Jacob Schaefer, nice pitcher here. And Leith Kellaway, who, wow, this guy is pretty damn good for their 4-starter. So I see why their pitching was good. They were 3rd in starters at ERA. Their bullpen doesn't look as impressive just looking at ERA numbers, but they finished 85 and 77. So we will jump into game 1 against Baltimore. Mike Wolf on the mound. We win 4-1. Tommy White, big game, 3 hits, 3 ribbies. Mercedes also has a ribby and a hit. Only 7 as a team, but want to put up 4 runs, which is enough. Good game from Mike Wolf. And then the bullpen was solid to close it out. A few too many walks, though. 6 walks between these guys and 2 1/3. So, got to cut that back just a bit. And then Hagen Smith will be on the mound in game 2, and we beat Steve Becker. It looks like he was an opener for Alec Marsh. Hagen Smith awesome start, 11 Ks and 6 1/3. Love to see that. And then Eric Watson closes it out. Jeff Roy, 2 hits, 4 ribbies. Owen Peno, 2 ribbies. And then Correa, Palencia also drove in some runs. And Jeff Roy, Correa, and Palencia and Peno all had home runs. So we go to Baltimore for Game 3, up 2-0 in the series, looking to close them out. Will Warren will be on the mound. And we lose 8-2. So tough game for the offense and the pitching. Sodden with a couple hits. Jeff Roy looks like had a couple ribbies as well. But Will Warren, not the worst start in the world, but the bullpen, definitely not the best performance there. So Game 4, Nola on the mound in Baltimore, trying to close it out for us, and we win 4-2. So we win in 4 games. Nola, really nice start, and then to Dean DeLash to close it out. Correa with 3 hits. Palencia had a couple of hits, as did Jeff Roy. He's been, I wouldn't be surprised, he won MVP of the series. Our young stud, 26 years old, Jeff Roy, nice game from him. Correa had a home run and a double as well. So we move ahead, and we will head to the ALCS. And we will play Boston. Cody Schreier is back, so that's good to see. Activate him from the injured list, and Gravak did not appear in the series, so I'm going to put Schreier on the team, and he'll just he'll just slide in for a driver here. I think my playoff series, I like going with 14 hitters. Gives you a lot more flexibility, in my opinion. And, most of the pitchers don't even get used anyway. So, all right. We will head to play Boston. And they finished 92-70 as well. Second in runs scored and 6th in runs against. So a slightly better offense, a little bit worse pitching. Still led by Rafael Devers. Still a stud. 3.8 WAR. Led the league in RBIs. Brooks Brandon looks like a nice player here. Wander Franco's still kicking for them after a trade a couple of years back. Then Enrique Bradfield, who's a good speed threat. Yeah, really good offense here. So we will face, not the Rays, Mike Sterna. It'll be Chad Roddenberg. Really nice arm here. 24 years old. Nice. Julio Robena, another nice pitcher. He'll be in Game 2, I assume. And then Jesus Luzardo, kind of a has-been, but he'll be appearing at some point in the series. So, Game 1, Mike Wolf on the mound in Boston. We lose 8-2 to kick off the series. Tough game for the offense. Mike Wolf, pretty decent start, but Jordan Wicks continues to struggle this postseason. He's been objectively really bad. So we only use 2 relievers. That's good. Then Hagen Smith will be in Game 2. And we lose 9-8. So, oh my God. So we went into the bottom of the 9th up 8-2 and go on to blow the game. I don't even want to see this. So Hagen Smith, a really good start. Noah Dean gives up a couple. And Olsen and Lash go on to blow the game wide open. And, wow, that is a heartbreaking loss, man. That is horrible. So, unbelievable. So, we're down 2-0. Back to Minnesota for 3 games. Will Warren on the mound, trying to, stop us from going down 3-0. And we lose 5-3 and go down 3-0. So Warren, short start. Chase Petty, rough appearance in relief, and that's it. We're down 3-0. It's been done before against Boston. Aaron Nola will be on the mound in maybe his last Twins start. So let's see if he can keep us alive in Minnesota for Game 4. Tanner Burns on the mound for Boston. And we win 5-0. So keep our season alive. Ben Hoffman, 3 hits. Nola, 8 shutout innings, and goes to Glazebrook to close it out. So, our former ace keeps us alive, and now our current ace, Mike Wolf, will be on the mound trying to salvage and force a game 6 in Boston. So, let's do it in Minnesota. We win 4-1 to make it 3-2 in the series. DeMartini and RBI. Mercedes drove in the other 3. And an awesome start from Wolf to Liendo to Lash to close it out. Awesome start from Mike Wolf. We needed that big time. So, it'll be game 6 here in Boston. I don't think we've ever had like an elimination game on the road like this before, where we're actually like the underdogs record-wise. So, Robania will be on the mound for this game, and then our old friend Kao Song is lined up for a potential game 7. I don't know if he actually makes that start, but it's possible. So, we got to win this game first. So, game 6 in Boston, Hagen Smith on the mound. And we win 5-0, and we force a game 7. Huge game from the offense and the pitching. Hagen Smith, 5 shutout. And Olsen and Petty shutty to close the game. Looks like Schreier drove in a couple. He's had an awesome series. And DeMartini with a homer. So, game 7, Will Warren will be on the mound. I probably should take an all-hands-on-deck approach, maybe. So, like, I don't know. These guys, if our manager thinks these guys should come in, bring them in. Will Warren on the mound, game 7. It'll be Mike Sternja, their ace, against our 3 or 4 starter, whatever you want to define him and Nola. Really nice pitcher here. So, let's see if we can pull it off in Boston. Oh my God. We come down 3-0, and take down Boston in 13 innings. 3 runs in the top of the 13th. Unbelievable. Unfreaking believable. Yasser Mercedes named MVP of the series. Wow, you cannot make that up. Will Warren, awesome start, and then the bullpen bails us out. Huge 6 innings out of them, out of 3 guys, Liendo, Lash, and Dean. So, here we go. Harrison Sawden, I'm going to screw that up. Harrison Sawden, a 2-run shot in the top of the 13th to give us the win there. So, wow, unbelievable. We have one off day, and we're going to Milwaukee. And I don't know who's going to be available for this. So, World Series here against Milwaukee. Mike Wolf will be good for game 1. Hagen Smith, probably not for game 2, so it might have to be Nola. But, wow, unbelievable. Any changes to make to this team? I mean, Jordan Wicks kind of redeemed himself, but I trust him enough, I guess. Matt Olson, he's been pretty rough. But again, I don't really have any other options out of the pen. Glazberg's only made 1 appearance. I wish they would use him a little bit more. And same with Watson, but so we have no say in that. All right. Mitchell's out 2 weeks, so he'll be out for the rest of the series. Presumably, right? Yeah, he's not making it back. I mean, he can be back for game 7. Is that worth putting him on the roster? I don't know. I don't think so. So, against Milwaukee, here, they finished 98-64. Probably the best team in the majors. Let me check that. Oh, yeah, by a good margin. No one else was over 92 wins. So, a lot of injuries for them. I'm not sure. Mike Hugson, pretty good pitcher. Besides that, looks like more like depth guys. I guess AJ Alexi is pretty good. Daniel Batani's good. Cam Robinson's a good reliever. So, okay, never mind. I guess I doubted this. And, Dustin May's pretty fine. And Gabriel Hughes is good. So, good team here. Finished 4th run scored, 2nd runs against. Led by James Wood. He signed in free agency a couple of years back, I remember. Yeah, from Washington. He's been pretty good there. Like maybe not $25 million worth, but pretty good player. Tim Beal, a good on base guy. Wow, I should love him. It's a really nice player to have at the top of your lineup. Yesin Perez, he's fine. Will Clark, nice player, although $42 million is pretty steep for a first baseman. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, the hitting's fine. Chris Lanier, maybe one of the best pitchers in baseball at age 26. Huge strikeout guy. Dorian Doyle, love this guy. The high movement, high control. This is what I hope Eric Watson is one day, but another 26-year-old guy. Almeida, really nice pitcher. And Arrighetti, another nice guy. So their pitching staff, as the Brewers are in real life, really good players. So it'll be Mike Wolf in Game 1 in Milwaukee. Let's do it. We lose 3-2 here in Game 1 of the World Series. And it looks like Tommy White into a double play to end the game. Mike Wolf, a pretty decent start. And Dean, good in relief, but 2 runs won't cut it in that one. So we'll go to Game 2. Hagensmith not ready, so Aaron Nola will make the start. And we win 4-3. So another nice performance by Nola. 3 runs and 6 1/3. Dean to Lash to close it out. Pena has a couple ribbies. Correa has the other 2. And looks like it was a home run by Correa and a home run by Pena as well. So we go back to Minnesota for 3. The series tied at 1 apiece. So we take 1 on the road. That's huge. And Hagensmith will be on the mound for this Game 3. And we lose 12-10 in an absolute slugfest. Looks like the Brewers get 3 in the top of the 9th to win it. Oh my God, that sucks. Huge game from the bottom of their order. Wow, that's incredible. DeMartini has 3 ribbies, and a couple other guys had 1, but ton of doubles in this one. 1 home run by DeMartini. Hagensmith, pretty rough start, and then Eric Watson, not too good, and then Lash blows another save in the playoffs. Tough to see that with our A guys going, and that will send us down 2-1. The next night against with Will Warren on the mound, we win 3-2. So big bounce back game for us. Jeff Roy a couple of hits, Hoffman a couple of hits, and Schreier continues to drive in a ton of runs at the bottom of the order. Love that for him. Will Warren, nice start, 4 2/3, 1 run. Wicks gives up a run, but gets us through a couple of innings, and then Lando to Dean to close it out. So series tied 2 apiece. Mike Wolf on the mound for this Game 5. And let's see, we win 7-6, so we're 1 win away from the World Series. Winning the World Series. Looks like Sodden had a home run, a 3-run shot for him. 4 ribbies in the game. Yasser Mercedes, big game with 3 hits. DeMartini had the 3 RBIs, and we only took 2 guys to drive in those 7 runs. Mike Wolf, not his best start. Then Chase Petty Liendo gives up a couple runs, and then Olsen closes it out. So we go to Milwaukee, 2 chances to close out this World Series. We'll have Nola and Smith on the mound for these 2. You know what? Nola's probably been better than Hagensmith. That's not true. I'm going to start Nola on this one, though. Give it to Smith in a potential Game 7. So here we go. To win our... Make sure I get this right. 5th World Series? 5th World Series in the save. In Milwaukee. Nola on the mound. We lose 7-1, so we will go to Game 7. Just a tough game overall. Nola not horrible, but threw a ton of pitches. Then Wicks, Glazebrook, Petty just couldn't keep them off the board. And we only got 1 run. So Hagensmith will be on the mound for Game 7. And again, I don't know if our manager will even consider this, but all hands on deck for this one. With Smith on the mound, and he will be opposed by Almeida, who had a nice regular season and 7 starts. So, let's do it. In Milwaukee, Game 7, we lose 3-2. DeMartini gets hurt. Whatever. That sucks. So, it looks like this dude, Martin, who is this? Roman Martin, a walk-off home run in the bottom of the ninth, and Lash blows his third save, or I guess not a blown save technically, but blows his third game of the postseason. Noah Dean also gives up a run after a really good Hagen Smith start, and that's crushing. We were up 2-1 going into the bottom of the eighth. They tied it up and then wound up winning it in the bottom of the ninth. So Eduardo Garcia winds up winning Series MVP. What did he do? I don't get that, but okay. Apparently, he was the best player in the series. But we lose our first World Series series throughout this one. But you can't win them all, and sometimes the playoffs are a crapshoot. We had 2 chances to close it out, and the bullpen, the hitting, the pitching. I guess it was all kind of came together, especially in that Game 6 where we kind of just threw that one away, and then Game 7 couldn't quite get enough offense, and the bullpen kind of fell apart. Lash didn't even get a single out. He just gave up a home run as soon as he third pitch in. So thank you for watching episode 25 of the Twins Out of the Park Baseball Series, and we will see you guys in the next one in episode 26 for the offseason. So thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye.